a lot of the brokers, I'm interacting with them through a negative situation or scenario, and now we get to meet on a positive note.
That's a good point.
Person to person, handshakes. Hey, I'm a person too. How you doing?
A lot of people at the top only get to talk if there's a problem.
Right. And that's one of the reasons I like going to these events and meeting the other brokers or a top producing agent, right? Like we all do business amongst each other all the time. And we don't see each other really. It's really a TC usually, aside from the initial phone call in Texas.
Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Your Peak Life podcast. What's going on? DJ Julian Rivera here. We got a full room for you guys and gals today, but make sure you're liking, you're subscribing, and you're following us. Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. Because if you ain't, you're just not cool. I just want to be very clear on that one, all right? So today we got Edgar June Rodriguez. We got Edgar the Sphere Munoz. We got Mike Broker from the Bottom Little. We got myself, but we got the number one special guest in the house today, because us four don't matter. It's all about Joni today in Real Producers Magazine. Joni, what's going on, girl?
What's going on? It's good to be here and see all you guys.
Yeah, glad to see you.
We have a full room for you on purpose. Because we've all worked with you in some way, shape, or form. You throw in some of the best events quarterly out here every year and other things on top of that. You brought real producers to the area to the level where it's at, and you're actually expanding outside of the market. But outside of this, we'd like to know a little bit about who is Joni. Let the audience know. We know who you are, but let the audience know and the listeners know, who is Joni?
Who is Joni? I was not prepared for that question.
Oh, man.
Like I'm usually the one asking the question.
Right. We got to flip the script.
You've got me out of my comfort zone.
Perfect. That's how you excel.
Exactly what we need.
So Joni grew up the poor kid in the rich town. Okay. And from a very young age learned how to cater to affluent and influential people without being one. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of been the whole foundation of where my career has led over the years. Yeah, who knew, right? And I was raised fourth of 5 kids by a single mother, and Dad was not helping financially or present. And Mike and I spoke. Our histories are a little similar. And it's so I was independent from a very young age, and so that gave me a good foundation. My mom had to work, so I learned a good work ethic. I learned that women can and should have a good work ethic, and women can and should have a hustle, and women have a great place in the workforce. And, so I never felt held back because I was female.
Good.
It's that was never a hindrance. And so so that's kind of who I am today. I am married to my husband of 6 years going on, and he works with me, Dave. And Dave was in radio for many years. He and Andy Hinlin started Selecta Radio together. And that is the Spanish-speaking radio station.
I know we've talked about it.
Yeah, and then when he tried to retire about 6 years ago, that did not go well for him. Because I was out there having all this fun, and he wanted to be part of it.
Of course.
So he joined the business. Together, we weekends we go boating, we fishing. We started a publication in Sarasota, Florida. So now we're bouncing back and forth between here and Sarasota. Nice. And my mother, who raised 5 of us by herself, turned 90 last year, and we get to hang out with her from time to time. She's here in Virginia Beach.
Awesome. Nice. And one of the things too, all 4 of the other individuals in this room, and one thing that we all have in common is that we do what we say we're going to do. You and I, when we met in a very unique scenario, that I called you out on purpose to get a meeting with you because I knew where I was going to go in this career, and the rest of us can say the same thing. We set the goals and we achieve it. We get a peak, we go to the next one, right? So you own the rights for the entire territory, Peninsula, South Side, and now in another state too, right?
In Sarasota, Florida.
In Sarasota, Florida, for the Real Producer Magazine, right? Yes. So everyone in this room has been featured in some way, shape, or form, but we also understand that it's a big market out there, right? So when people want to get into Real Producers Magazine, really, what is the criteria to even make, not just a cover, not just an article, like just to get in something? Because this is a national publication. You just happen to be in this awesome area that we call Hampton Roads and now Sarasota, Florida. So tell us a little bit about the vision and what made you bring this to the area, and who are you looking for to be in these magazines every month?
So yeah, Real Producers, when Real Producers came about 10 years ago, I was running some neighborhood magazines locally in East Beach and Lagamore, and it's the same parent company. And so I was watching this thing called Real Producers. I'm watching this friend of mine, Remington Ramsey, doing this cool thing with top realtors and trying to figure out, like, that's pretty cool. What's he doing, you know? And I've been watching. For about 4 years later, they opened up the Virginia market. And I was all over it. I'm knocking on Ramsey's door. I'm hunting them down. I'm going, I'm your girl. I'm your girl. I'm your girl. I was actually studying for my real estate license at the time, looking for a plan B, just in case. You always have a backup plan, but since I started Real Producers, I don't have a backup plan. This is it, and which is the first career ever that I have not needed to have a backup plan. But, the way it all came about was, 10 years ago when the text message replaced the handshake, real estate kind of got hurt by that, because you guys used to show up at the closing table together, shake hands, kiss babies. It was all very social. You had to go to the other offices and pick up the keys to show a house. There was a lot of socialness that went away when technology took over, and not knowing the agent on the other side of the transaction was problem number one that we were hearing from top realtors. Challenge number two is now the phone's ringing every day with 15 lenders and 15 home inspectors and 20 home warranty people. And, and it's hard for the realtors to kind of figure out who are the best of the best in those categories. And y'all don't have time to go have lunch with everybody and, see if they can earn your business. Because you'd be doing nothing but eating lunch, and you'd all be 800 pounds, and you're all in good shape here.
Almost.
So Remington, in all of his brilliance, kind of saw this. He was selling closing gifts, and you guys have heard the story. And he said there has to be a better way. The way he describes it, he was bringing bread products to a lot of offices and meeting every part-time realtor selling one house a year, coming for the free lunch.
Right.
Because top performers no longer were in their office. They don't have to be here. If they're out working, Mike doesn't care what where they are, what they're doing. He's looking at the numbers.
Right.
Come to training, though. Come to training.
Yeah, exactly. And so Remington, in all of his brilliance, said, why don't we do this? Nobody out there is doing anything for top real estate agents that is third-party validation of their success that they don't have to pay for.
Yep.
And they come together and connect.
And so that started the magazine. And then he thought, well, how do we keep it cohesive? Because then a year or two went by, and he's got all these realtors that have been featured, and he's like, how do I keep them engaged? And he started doing the events. And so bringing this group together, I was just talking to
Dion.
Love Dion. And he was like, well, why should I come to your events? And I'm like, do you want to walk into a room where you're not the smartest person in it? And he was like, I would love that. And I'm like, well, come to my events. Because there's, the last event we had last week had 100 of the top realtors in there.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
And I haven't added up the numbers yet. I'll get those to you. But I'm going to guess there was over $1 billion of real estate represented in the last 12 months in that room alone. And
I could see that.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Easy. And so that's the value of Real Producers, and why and how it got started was, to kind of help alleviate some of the pain points that realtors were feeling. And then the third factor is the businesses out there who are calling you up and wanting to have lunch and earn your business and not quite knowing how to do that. They can't find you in the office anymore. It's easy to get a list, but it's hard to get a meeting. Right? I mean,
absolutely.
Think about it. If you were a vendor, you guys, have owned some businesses that have tried to, get top realtors. And so what we do is this thing is all funded by the businesses that advertise, but we're not just out cold calling every vendor in town.
Yeah.
I wait for those businesses to be recommended by top agents. Every one of you has met with me, and I go over the list. Who's your home inspector? Who's your title closer? Who's your this? Who's your that? And then I go and I call those people and I say, hey, Julian Rivera recommended we connect. Mm-hmm. Now they're willing to start paying attention. Then they see the pictures and go, wait a minute, Julian's there, Mike's there, all these guys are there, and they want to be a part of. But, I'm vetting these businesses. I want to make sure they're not your creepy commission breath businesses out there.
Commission breath. I love that.
Oh, yeah. No, you've got some agents that way, too, the newer ones sometimes.
Yes,
I know
they
you guys
do.
fix that pretty quickly here in Valley, though. But yeah, so we'd established that and we didn't want to throw an event every month. That gets old. So we do quarterly events.
Yeah.
They're special. They're They're the types of events, and what we strive for is to be the type of event that a top agent prioritizes and wants to be at. It's kind of fun to be me at events because, afterwards I get notes from people saying, I'm so sorry, Joni, I really wanted to go, but, and that's really a true testimony to the platform that these agents, I've had agents come in going, look, I can only stay a few minutes, but I didn't want to disappoint you. And I knew I had to show up. And meanwhile, that they're showing up either to meet somebody there or to, they're trying to, recruit somebody or get recruited or
100%.
We don't use real producers events to recruit.
No, I mean, to your point, I think you touched it on the head. Was it's not only when people are reaching out. For me, it's more respect for you. I'm definitely going to show up. The events are great. The other part of the event is I get to shake hands, like I was talking to you about. Was a lot of the brokers I'm interacting with them through a negative situation or scenario, and now we get to meet on a positive note.
That's a good
person
point.
to person, handshakes. Hey, I'm a person too. How you doing?
A lot of people at the top only get to talk if there's a problem.
Right. And that's one of the reasons I like going to these events and meeting the other brokers or a top producing agent, right? Like we all do business amongst each other all the time, and we don't see each other, and it's really a TC usually, aside from the initial phone call in Texas.
So do you find that, or have you ever found that if you've been, because you guys have been going to events for 6 years now, most of you, and that when you have a little bit of an established relationship with another broker, when that big problem comes up, it's a little bit easier to
Absolutely.
resolve when you know
Of
them?
course.
Absolutely.
Of course. Well, doesn't Remington, he came with the 3 pillars for the brand, right? One of them is connection.
Yeah.
So although it's not a recruiting event directly, indirectly, when you go there, you get to create connection. And that's how you figure out who should belong where.
Yes.
Like there are people that show up there that meet somebody that say, oh man, there might be opportunity.
Yes.
So I don't think that it's for necessarily recruiting, but it is for who am I dealing with on the other side of the call or that email blast
I think when we meet, it's not I think, I know. When I meet somebody in person, let's just say another top producer and agent out there at one of these events, I'm top of mind. If they're deciding already, they're going to be making a move. They got my number. We have already communicated.
What about for offers?
No,
that's
what I was going to say. So, for me, I look at it twofold.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm a broker owner of Iron Valley, and I'm looking to make connections, but I also produce. I'm still in the streets.
He's like, I want to be on the list.
I
You know what I mean?
No, but I still want to provide a
We all
service,
still
right?
sell.
To my clients. Part of that is having connections with top producing agents.
100%.
The list doesn't change that much, Joni. Right? Like there's a few, but there's some people that are pillars,
Just there,
right? Like especially on the listing side, there's not very many brand new top listing agents. It's usually the same top agents who have the most listings, longevity, reputation, all of those things, right? So I have a very high likeliness to be at a real producer's event and meet a listing agent, a top tier listing agent that I will have future business with.
Yeah. Back when it was during COVID, and y'all probably remember overnight, it was like you put a house on the market, and within the first 2 hours, there's 20 to 50.
Yeah, we're still trying to
offers.
train agents that's not how it works.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I was getting phone calls. Hey, Joni, is so-and-so on your list? Hey, they were all like, oh, thank you for doing what you do. Because now I know which agents can get these to closing. Because I went to your last event. I've been reading your magazine.
That's a good point.
And it was really helpful to a lot of folks. But they would still call me and be like, hey, I know the name so-and-so. Do they do a lot of volume? And it was kind of cool to be me during that time. And be able to help agents sort of decipher who's going to get it to the closing table.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's still pretty cool to be you, Joni, just to be clear.
It doesn't suck to be me.
It doesn't suck to be you at all. Because, I mean, you get to really touch all the 7 cities and the surrounding areas. You're now touching another city in Sarasota, Florida, by expanding the brand that you've built and brought to the area. It's kind of comparable to what Iron Valley is, Mike.
But we started
Eric,
at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. This is kind of where I was getting at. Like, they brought to the area an idea during when the world was ending, and everyone calls him crazy. Ha! Look now, right?
Yeah.
Same concept with you.
Yeah,
Look,
they called me crazy.
Do you
too.
see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things.
Man, that couldn't have been but 8 months before we opened here that Eric was featured, and then you came here and I was featured.
Yeah, we
it was
started Real
It was
Producers
literally at
July
the
of
same time.
2019.
Right.
It was literally, yeah.
And you guys
we
were
opened
April of
February 2020.
Or
Yeah.
February 2020. You moved into this office April.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it was like
I was paying attention.
same time. Yeah. Well, you were at all the events. We were at yours, so we got.
Yeah. I remember the day I met Eric and you, and I remember the day I met Julie.
That crappy office on Newtown Road.
I remember the little crappy office on Newtown Road, and you were still working. You were still full-time military and selling from the back of a Navy ship and in the top 500. And I'm like, who is this guy? And you told me what you were going to do, and I'm one of the few who believed you.
Yeah, and
I
there's
knew
a
you
lot
were
of
gonna
people
do it.
out there with that. Damn, he said he was going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really have to tell you now, do I?
Yeah.
I remember. I remember.
Well, you started around 2020, around the same time. You guys are going down this timeline. But what was Joni doing to like hustle and get that business?
She was everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what were you doing?
I mean, who
tell
else
the
was
people
visiting our little crappy office on Newtown Road,
tell
right?
the people what you were doing. You're not just here by coincidence.
It was grassroots. It was, just to build a brand like a Real Producers, it's very grassroots networking. You got to meet with the brokers and the leaders and find out who the top. I didn't even have a list.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were
Didn't
that
even have
vendor.
access to a list yet.
Because you
We
were that
didn't-
vendor
we
before,
didn't-
right?
The company didn't have the ability to get me a list, so
Yeah.
I had to go and ask people. And
Yeah.
then, you ask a realtor, well, tell me about your volume. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, I did 50 million
I
last
slayed
year.
it.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And then you
Sorry.
look it up, and it's like, well, 550. You're missing a few.
They look good on Facebook, right?
Talking a different currency. That's what they're doing.
So what I did was
That's
I literally
funny, just 'cause
pounded the
it's
phones. I
true.
do what you guys do to
Yeah.
sell real estate. And I pounded the phones, and I'm calling agents, and I'm
Yeah.
looking up who are the agents. I'm asking friends. I knew a few
Yeah.
agents because I would do it the little neighborhood magazine. So I knew the ones that lived in Lagamore and the ones who lived in
Okay.
East Beach. That was my
Right.
start. And but I would meet with the agents, and when I met, and I'm a pretty good judge of people. And my BS meter is pretty fine tuned, and so I knew when they were legit. I knew the day I met Mike that Mike and Eric were legitly going to do this, and there was not a doubt in my mind that you were going to accomplish what you said you were going to accomplish. And we've been each other's biggest champions ever since. We've
I mean, I'm going to Dallas for that. Like, Joni closed that gap. She reached out to Remington and said, hey, Mike's an author and a speaker now. You should probably, bring him along for the ride. So that's why I'm even at that event, to be clear.
That's
So,
dope.
And that is the RP Elevate event. So Real
Absolutely.
Producers is going national.
Yep.
So there's 150 Real Producers across the
Okay.
country. So I'm 3 of 150.
Right.
Did you
And,
bring that copy of his book in here?
I didn't bring it in.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I didn't. I meant to.
The next one we record, I'll show
Yeah.
him some love. It's
But
all
you
right.
can kind of.
I'll do him a little book review or something.
And
Yeah.
pretend like we just showed his book. And
Yeah, no, I got it.
But yeah, Remington is the creator of Real Producers, and he is the creator of the Real Producers Elevate event, where
And the podcast, right?
and the podcast, which Mike has also been on, and the Real Producers Elevate event in Dallas at the end of September is going to bring together top producing agents and real producer partners from across the country. Nobody's ever done anything like it.
And the top speaker, author, brand building trainer on the planet. Rory Vaden's the keynote, and I have happened to see him before. He's the reason I made my brand the way it is, so it's pretty full circle for
I
me.
just got his new book too.
It's in my car.
I bet.
Wealthy and well known. It really is. Seriously, you just moved it. It's in the back seat. I can't make this up. So that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Molly Bloom's going to be there. Have you read her book?
So
She's
I
pretty impressive.
got to see her.
You did.
Yep. I've been
So you
on-
know her story.
absolutely,
Yeah, she's
100%, and the movie.
She's impressive. Molly's Game. Go get it.
Yep,
and you'll
it's
know.
fantastic.
You'll want to. If you're a top agent, you're not at RP Elevate. You're going to miss out. You're going to have FOMO in the worst way.
we'll have a crew there.
You're going to have FOMO in the worst way. But yeah, so Mike is one of our speakers coming to do some breakouts and lead some top agents across the country and some really cool stuff. We're excited about that.
I love when it's like the inaugural event, right?
Yes.
Because you can't really compare it to anything else that you did before because you're really setting the tone for next year and moving forward. And what I've read based on everything online and talked to you about, you have a pretty star-studded lineup, in my opinion, from across the country. And I don't mean like people on the level of keynote speaking, touring everywhere. A lot of the key players.
Brokers and agents, man.
That's what I mean.
Crazy.
The key players that you have from all these different markets.
Got them for every major city.
That's what I mean. So like it's all over the place. And the fact that you were in the team and the whole company was able to coordinate this and put this together, you're going to see what worked and what didn't, right? But it didn't really work. You just know what not to do for the next one because it's only going to continue to get better and better and better. And there's something to be said. Right. But there's something to be said, like you know about inaugural events. When you throw one on, it's like you're figuring it out as you go. But then you're like, okay, this is what we do. This is what we don't do because this shit really worked, right? So the fact that you have a lot of key players in there from a lot of different types of markets is huge. And the fact that you're going to be there doing that during the week to really elevate the brands from a local standpoint is huge for you. That's why I keep saying it's cool to be Joni because you've been there and you've seen, and now you've seen where the growth is going. So now your ideation coming back, really that's going to help you affect your local events that you do. Local ideas that you might do. You might do an inaugural annual Hampton Roads one moving forward. You don't know, right? But there's other things that you might be able to do. There's other things that you'll end up evolving out of this idea. But that's really where a lot of the stuff comes from. Even running here is like this ideation of, that's actually a good idea. Let's see if it can make sense. But after you built the foundation, which this is going to be the big foundation for you. So you're going out there to the event. We're talking about RP Elevate. Yeah. How many days early are you going? And like, what's your role of setting up in the whole 9 yards?
So we all go in about 2 days early.
Okay.
And this is the Real Producer Publishers. And so we have our, semi-annual conference there as well. Got it. And so really, we elevate each other and it's, connect, elevate, and inspire are the three, our three-legged stool we're built on, And so, it's really important for us to connect with each other, elevate each other, and inspire each other.
Yeah.
Because we're where we get the energy to connect, elevate, and inspire with you guys.
Right.
And with our business partners. And so it's very cool to hang out with a bunch of real producer publishers.
Agreed.
And hear what they're doing. Every good idea that went into Hampton Roads came from another market.
Yeah. Right.
Every good idea.
All you do is borrow it. You just borrow the ideas.
The giving away the framed articles at their events, that all somebody else did it first.
Somebody's got the answer. You don't have to rewrite it.
I say it all the time.
If it works, work it.
I'm the best imitator. Like I'll boost your stuff, right, and put a little bit of twist, incorporate it. If I already know it's working, why am I going to invent something?
That's right.
If something's successful, I can use that same thing, right? Put a little swag and put a mark of Edwin in it. And that's it.
That's it.
And that's it. We're building the plane mid-flight, is what we say. And any entrepreneur knows that that's what we do.
Yeah.
You got to build out that plane mid-flight. There's no time to wait for it to be perfect to take off.
So I have an idea I want to ask you, and this is more so because there's an individual in this room that has an amazing daughter that won Rookie of the Year this year at Hurrah. And there's a few people that might win Rookie of the Year in the area. Have you ever done an article or at least something featured in a magazine? Because that happens every year. It's pretty much guaranteed it's going to happen every year. So like having Taina in there as a Rookie of the Year, and if there was a bunch of other ones in there, how would you incorporate featuring something like that with new people that want some marketability, that want to get in some sort of magazines, right? But they're just getting started. Remember, when you and I met, I hit you up before I even sold a house.
So I have to tell the world this story.
Like, I'm dead serious.
Yeah, this young man, Julian, I'm an agent, and I need to get on you. And I'll take agents that aren't on the list from time to time and take a meeting. We met at Starbucks down there
off Kempsville.
Kempsville.
I tried to get in the cover before I even sold a house.
Yeah, he was great. So
the 5 to 50 million. Gotcha. Story.
Back then, agents wouldn't reach out to me unless they were doing 4 or 5 mil, And so I asked Julian during that meeting, I'm like, well, what's your volume going to be this year? And he goes, I'm not sure. And I said, well, what's your volume so far this year? He goes, actually, I haven't sold my first house yet. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I here?
Over here
what a waste of time.
She's like, the cover's 20 million, bro. What are we doing?
It's crazy cool, though, because this is where, my entrepreneurial spirit kicked in. And I'm like, well, tell me, what are you going to do next year? He goes, I'm going to get on your list next year. And I said, how are you going to do that? And we started talking about his strategy, the DJ business and the wedding business and all the stuff you were involved in and how to find those people buying and selling. And I said, don't forget the divorcees because there's 2 sales and a buy.
There's a sale and 2 buys, right?
Yes.
We had a great
3 transactions.
We had a great conversation.
Great. Yeah.
I'll never forget that day. Like I said, I remember the day I met each and every one of you because you guys are memorable.
And he was on the list next year?
In answer to your question about your daughter. What's her name again?
Taina.
Taina.
Yeah.
And so Taina earned her spot on the top 300 list on the Peninsula. So she's a shoo-in.
Dope.
She's a shoo-in. Now, it takes somebody putting them on my radar. So in order to get in Real Producers, you got to have the numbers, but you also have to be nominated by your peers. We're not pay to play for realtors. We don't charge agents or realtors to be featured. You can't pay me to get into Real Producers.
Right.
You have to earn your spot. Then you have to be liked by your peers. So you have to earn it with integrity and a little bit of, kindness. And you have to be nominated by your peers. And then my team meets with you. We still want to make sure that you're not like braggadocious realtor who's going to be me.
Yep.
Because this is about connect, elevate, and inspire each other. Yep. So your story inspires you, and your story inspires him, and her story, and that's the beauty of it. Like, the number one realtor in the market told me, she said, I read this publication word for word, page for page, cover to cover, every month without exception. And I asked her, do I have your permission to quote you on that? And she said, yes, you do. And so I'm quoting, and she's been number one since I started. And,
we know her name, Joni. It's okay.
We know her name.
We know exactly
Absolute beast.
She's been number one. But she's one of those that probably will never be featured because she's just that's not who she is.
Right.
And that's okay. But the fact that she reads it, just was the biggest compliment to me. And I truly believe that that's why realtors read it and agents read it, so they can learn something, so they can find out the hustle, so they can know a little bit about you when you have a transaction together and something might fall apart. Now we can relate to each other. So Connect, Elevate, Inspire is really our brand. So a newer agent, I love the newer agents, but I count on you guys' nominations.
Right, and you do the Rising Star piece, right?
Yep.
So let's talk metrics, because I think that's what you're getting at. Mm-hmm. What's it take to get on a cover? What's it take to be a Rising Star? What's it take to, I've seen you do like a leadership highlight section, right?
Celebrating leaders.
There we go. So what are each of those, what's the criteria for each of those things?
So we're building that plane mid-flight.
I like how you brought that back. I love it.
There's exceptions to every rule,
of course. Circumstances.
Because there's so much involved. But generically, to get on the top 500 list in Hampton Roads, so that's Hampton Roads Real Producers, a real estate agent had to have sold just under $10 million last year.
Right.
To get on the top 300 list on the Peninsula, it's a little bit of a smaller market, smaller price point. So the real estate agent had to have sold just shy of $7 million to be on our list there. And it fluctuates year from year.
Yeah. Right.
The first year I started, we'll use Hampton Roads because it was like $6 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then COVID hit and it was like $12 million because, you hold out your hand and you had a deal. And and now we're leveling out at probably 8 is where we're going to end up this year.
Okay. Yeah, I say the top 500 right now starts right around that. So
yes, and that's for an agent. That's for a top producer, rising star, featured agent. Anybody just to get in there. Now
you have to be in that top 500 or 300.
There's several exceptions. The rising star does not necessarily need to be on the list, but they got to be tracking to be on the list.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take a rising star who sold $2 million last year and put them into real producers as a rising star.
But a rookie that did 8, obviously, like you said, already cemented. Got
correct.
Yeah. So rising star less than 5 years and crushing it, knocking at the door of our list or on our list.
Yeah.
Now to get a cover, an agent had to have sold 20 mil or more for, as a general rule. Now, have there been some that on paper sold less? Yes, there's off-market deals, out-of-market deals. I'll take that into consideration when I know it, when they've been nominated by a lot of people. I got to know that you got to play nice in the sandbox.
True.
Yeah.
There's one or two brilliant jerks out there that probably have never been nominated. And one
or two brilliant jerks.
One or two maybe, in every market. I'm not picking on anybody in this market. Every market has them. Literally, my counterparts across the country will tell me, "Oh yeah, we get people who come up and say, you should never feature so and so." That we don't play that way.
Right.
We believe in rising tides raise all ships. collaboration over competition, same stuff you guys believe in. It's all about elevating, inspiring, and connecting with each other. And life's too hard to be picking on each other and putting each other down, right? This is a hard industry.
Yep.
So it's, if you're going to hustle, you got to know that the person next to you has got your back.
Yeah, I agree.
And the only way to know that is that you got theirs. And so those are the people who get nominated. Those are the people who when we meet with them, when my team meets with them, if we really feel they're real producer material, we're going to line them up. Now, right now, we've got 12 months of covers already designated.
As you should.
And we've got 8 months of rising stars. It doesn't mean that somebody's going to be able to do a photo shoot faster than the next one.
Right.
And so it's, it doesn't mean that if I find your rising star today that it's going to take 8 to 12 months to get them in there.
Right.
But we do we've got a lot of agents looking forward to their feature in Real Producer.
You guys do a good job of reaching out to the leaders when you're featuring someone. I'm curious, what's that feedback like on your end where you're reaching out to try to get agents featured or promoted and their leadership team just isn't getting back to you?
Their agents don't get featured.
Right, but I'm saying, like, how often does that take place? Like, I'm trying to gauge the
Participation
That's a really good question.
or
participation, but really just the how involved are the leadership and the brokers that you see on average throughout the market? Because there's 743 firms.
Yes.
And a lot of people are out here wondering why they're not winning. Well, the reason is probably maybe they're not very responsive or supportive, right? Like, so I'm just curious for someone that's out here calling all the brokers or team leads or trying to get people the love they deserve. What's that look like from your side of the house?
So that's another fun moment. So when I first started this 6 years ago here in Hampton Roads, there were a lot of people that said to me, "No, that's never going to work in our market. That's not," a lot of naysayers.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of people who thought that.
Heard that too.
And what's super fun is those are the same people who call me today saying, "Hey, I hear there's a Real Producers event. I used to get invited to them."
Used to.
Right? And interestingly enough, it's 2 of them this year were brokers who opted out of my list. Now, you opt out of an email or a phone call with Real Producers, you're off the mailing list, you're off everything. I don't, you got to be engaged in my platform.
Of course.
You don't want to be here, I don't need you
a waiting
here.
list of people who want to be part of.
Correct.
Right.
Who sold 10 million last year.
Facts.
Right.
Who my partners want to meet.
Yeah.
Who you guys want to meet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so if someone doesn't want to be, but I tell you, more often than not, they do come back. People are so good at contempt prior to investigation. They're so good at
Joni.
They're
Contempt prior to investigation.
People are so
Oof.
good at contempt, especially if you're in sales.
Right.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get a lot of calls that you have to say no to. I can't tell you how many realtors call me a week wanting to buy my house. And even I'm like, stop out of the text messages.
Right.
Hopefully I'm not opting out of you guys. Hopefully you're using a CRM if you're those people. And but it's easy to say no, especially since there's so many platforms out there going, you've been nominated.
Right.
We've got a prize for you. You're on this list. You're on the, and the Home Snap Awards were my favorite.
Right.
They meant nothing. But they were all over the internet. It was a brilliant marketing on their part.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Home Snap.
It was, right? Because
Yeah.
to you put an award out there. Your sphere says, my realtor's a rock star.
Right.
My agent's awesome. You should use him. It gives them another reason
Rising
to recommend
social media
you.
star was my
Yo.
Yes.
Stop.
Make
with
any
the
category
Home Snap
up.
Awards, y'all.
That's why we love the badges in January. So, I started sending out the
Yeah,
badges.
yeah.
That was somebody
500.
else's idea. I stole it. And
You borrowed it.
Well,
Well, the reality is
after 3 times, you can technically.
humans in general enjoy recognition.
Yes.
Whether or not they earned it is a different story. So, thanks for keeping some integrity at the line.
Yes.
Right.
We're in a society where everyone thinks they deserve a trophy, and that's not how it works.
No.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, no participation awards at Real Producers. So we send out the badges in January. Some of those people come back then. The people who hung
Oh
up on me.
man, I thought
and-
I was on the list.
Yeah,
could have been.
Like I get, and you were. Check your spam.
Right.
Like seriously, 90%
Right.
of the phone calls I get, are like, check your spam.
I mean, that happened to me when you switched up some of the communication this year. I'm like, where's it at? I'm like, oh, it was in spam.
Yeah.
It just happened,
it was.
right? Yeah.
I had a realtor give me a T-shirt. Hashtag check your spam.
Hilarious.
That's the second year I did it.
I love that.
That's great.
So when you came down here, Your Peak Life podcast, we like to talk about peaks, goals, you're hitting them. There's always been setbacks, et cetera. I'm going to talk about positivity here and ask the question. You came here only open the South Side, correct?
Correct.
And then you had an opportunity to then take over and open the Peninsula,
Yes.
right? But now you have another opportunity, which you've grabbed by the reins and just taken it in a completely different market, completely different state in Sarasota. What was that why factor that gave you the confidence to know I can do this on a different stage, aka a different state, and kill it just like I did here?
Who you work with matters. And that includes, it starts with your team. So I've got the greatest team. I have the greatest photographers, writers, Jackie, who coordinates everything for me. Jackie is to me what the transaction coordinator is to you. You know, she's my handler.
Right.
You know, if it's a detail thing, Jackie's got me covered. And so I've got a great team that allows me to come out and do all the fun stuff with you guys, because all the details get taken care of. You know, and that's important. That's as important to an agent on who they're working with. When you're sending your client to a lender or sending in a home inspector or doing a quick paint job or remodel, it matters who you send in there. Who you work with matters.
Facts.
So building that team is probably very similar to what you guys do. You got to have the right team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You got to have the right players. We're doing an article in another market about, you know, with kind of a football theme. It's who you work with matters. Who's on your team?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who's your home inspector? Who's your title closing company? Who's your, you know, do you have players on your team that are going to get you to the Super Bowl?
Do you
know?
even have a team?
Do you even have a team?
Most agents don't.
And a lot of agents will go ahead and use loyal to a fault, despite the fact that the home inspector they're using keeps missing everything, or the you know,
it's the only one they know.
you know, people do what they're
crazy.
comfortable doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We love our comfort zones. We love our creature comforts.
I stretch them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So what gave me, you know, my husband and I are not young chickens, and we thought, let's go spend a month or two in Florida every year, right?
Okay.
This all started with we were going to buy an investment property down
Okay.
there. Met a realtor. Realtor goes, yeah, our real producers isn't really all that. And so I go back to the company going, who's running Sarasota? And the gal running it owned another business, and you know you can't do real producers as a side hustle.
Right.
And she, if you could run real producers on heart and love for the industry, she would have been hugely successful. But you know, so I cozied up to her. They asked me to. I coached some people in the company, and you know, 6 months later, she's ready to throw in the towel. My husband and I looked at each other, going, "Can we do this?" It was one of those like real serendipitous type things. We weren't looking to expand into Florida.
Did you get a vacation home in Sarasota?
That was my question.
We did buy a home in Sarasota.
Okay.
28 days before Hurricane Milton came and tore off our front porch. $40,000 worth of damage.
But I'm asking because I think that when you dive into a business, it's rooted in something deeper than you just want to run a business. Clearly, since they bought a vacation home there, you enjoy Sarasota.
We do.
You like being there. So it makes sense to invest where you like to be.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
That's an
so
market.
so that it just makes sense if you're going to be there and you like being there. Also, as an entrepreneur, you identified a need. Well, if a chapter's failing essentially, and I can revive it, and I'm already there.
Yes.
Why not?
I already have 2 proof of concept. I've done it in 2 markets here. It makes sense. So
It was rinse and repeat. You know, it's once you understand the real producer's model, just like once you understand a realtor model, it's rinse and repeat. You know, you get some interesting personalities in the mix. It keeps it fun.
it keeps it fun.
Keeps it fun.
So how's it going down there?
So down there, well, let's see. We took it over in May. We had 3 hurricanes last year.
Jeez.
So that and the interest rates still continue to go up, and you know
course.
everybody in the real
Insurance,
estate industry is, and every market we all work in is working twice as hard for half the pay. I think that's kind of fair to say. You guys, a lot of folks working twice as hard.
Yeah, I would agree.
So
100%. We're seeing more releases than we have in the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a slow build down there. And now the realtors love it. We had some rebranding to do. There was a little bit of misunderstanding. They didn't quite understand what Real Producers was because there were agents going in there that weren't even near our list. And so it was a little confusing. So, you know, we had
reset
to kind
that
of
standard.
rebrand it and kind of reset the standard. And now that the agents understand what it is, the vendors, the businesses, the preferred partners are starting to come on board in a much more efficient manner.
Yeah.
We are still holding true to our integrity. We don't just allow anybody in there. You know, we want to make sure if I'm going to introduce a business to one of you guys, somebody of your caliber, I have to know that you're not going to come back to me going, Joni, what were you thinking with that home inspector?
Yeah.
You know, I vet them. I want to make sure that if they're in Real Producers, they too have to be a real producer. Because I want you to know when you call them, when you put them on your A list, the top of your consideration set, when your home inspector's too busy and you need a beeline guy or gal, you can comfortably call any one of them in my book and know that they're going to show up, they're going to do a good job, your client's going to be happy.
Yeah. I love it.
So it's we're building. It's a little slower than expected down there.
What's
but
your rotation from there to here? Like, when are you here? When are you there? Are we letting out too much information? I don't know.
No, it's all good.
It's mid-flight. We're mid-flight.
Yeah.
So it's my husband, because I had some surgery last year, my husband and I had to divide and conquer. So
Right.
he was down there for most of the winter while I was here recovering. And luckily here, I'm so established that I can do mostly from home,
Right.
from
Yeah.
Zoom and phone. And so because I'm not trying to, get to know you guys, you all know me.
Yeah.
So our rotation is going to be probably a month there to every 2 months here.
Okay.
And that allows us to continue the really strong quarterly events, continue the really strong relationship building.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if any of you call me and say, hey, like I need a good insurance guy, or gal, I'm going to have a handful
I might
of
just need a
those.
beach house in Sarasota.
And-
Like, what are you
and
talking about?
If you want to connect with a referring agent down there, I can tell you who to work with, Mike.
Yeah,
Who's
I
going
like
to fit
that.
your personality, who's going to fit the area you're looking in, I don't just recommend, people
Yeah.
ask me for real estate agent recommendations all the time. I really should get my license and go on referral base.
Duh.
Yeah, I could make
We got a great plan for you in Iron
Great
Valley.
plan for you. 100%.
Iron Valley's
Yeah.
trying to recruit.
We have those.
Joni's Iron Valley material.
That was smooth. I like it.
But you know what Sarasota got? They really got, it's just the word right. Right place, right time, right team.
Yes.
Because at that point in time, it just wasn't vibing for whatever was going on down there. And you're 100% correct. You got to burn the boats and go all in when you're doing something of that caliber, especially in ads.
Yes.
The advertising world, I came from that, so I get it. And you're either all in or you're just, it's just not going to work. There's no really
Yes.
gray area. So the fact that you're in a position down there to really knock two birds out with one stone, start a business down there that you already know, and then enjoy your vacation home and your time, most importantly, with this individual that is your husband that you want to enjoy this part of your life in Florida. And also you like no state taxes, so I get it. That's perfect. Good job.
Yes. Despite being separated for 3 months last year, we still like each other.
That's
my
good.
husband and I.
You might like each other more.
This just makes the heart
Sometimes,
grow fonder.
There are a few adjustments from but for the most part, we do like each other.
So
That's good. That's good.
What does Joni have planned heading into 2026? This episode usually comes out a few weeks later, right? So we're on August right now. We're already past the halfway point. You already got the rest of the year planned, right?
Yeah. When is the Real Producers event in Texas?
September.
In September.
29th and 30th. Right?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
In
RP
Dallas.
Elevate.
Yep.
And by the way, if any of your agents have not yet registered, they can register so that if they are a top agent and or a vetted real producer partner, an active real producer partner, there is currently a discount code
We got to get that out to the
for
Yeah.
33% off. Because this is going to go out a little bit later, I'm not going to give it on the podcast,
Yep.
but look to our social media page
Okay.
or reach out to me directly for that,
Okay.
and I'll make sure I give it to you guys
Awesome.
before I leave
Yeah.
here today.
Nice. Awesome.
Right now it's 30% off.
Okay,
Cool.
cool. We'll send
Great.
it out to our list.
Now, you were asking Texas. Were you asking the rest of the events here locally, too? Is there any
Oh, no. I
specified
just wanted to
dates?
make sure because we did touch on it, and it's a big event.
It's huge.
So I wanted to get that date
Texas
out
is
there.
huge.
Yes.
Yep.
Texas is
No,
huge.
the event's huge, and Texas is also
Texas
huge.
is also huge.
So
This is,
true.
this is
Yeah.
going to be a real producers is, we're excited.
Good.
We got the right people in the room.
There you go.
Who you work
Right.
with matters.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
lineup's killer.
So then you'll be there, right? And then obviously you'll be there for the one next year. Anything over the winter that we need to be aware about that you're doing in Hampton Roads, Peninsula or South Side, that we should start planning and marking our calendars now? I'm opening my calendar
October.
as we speak.
So October 21st, Real Producers is having an event.
If you were there at the last event, Julie, she
Last
said it.
event.
To be fair,
Oh,
we were
shots
both there.
fired.
I'm trying to help promote Spearhead. All right, calm your ass down.
Spearhead
But
is
Christ.
crazy.
But you see how he's taking out his phone because he didn't save it.
I like it.
So the 21st is the day before we leave. So
Correct.
That's
And
right.
thank you. I was getting to that. Mr. Want to freaking call me out. Let's go.
That's right.
21st
October
is
21st. We're going to be down at the oceanfront at a rooftop deck. It's going to be super fun.
rooftop deck.
What's that?
Yep.
Hanger Law?
Hanger Law.
Hanger Law.
Yep.
Hanger Law.
Right next to the
Gonna
dome.
do our rooftop
I like that
deck.
building.
That is a really
We
cool
just drove by
venue.
the other day. Like, man, they did
Now,
that right.
They
Do
rent
they
Ours will
hold
be
three- no,
quick.
it's not
We
one
got
of
a fire code we're working with. We can only have some, we're going to max out this one.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a wait list.
Hashtag
There's
check
going
your
to be a wait
spam.
list.
Hashtag check your spam.
Hashtag check your spam. Follow our social, hrrealproducers.com.
Love it.
So that, and we're very excited for that event, RP Elevate, obviously. And then we'll come out the gates in early January with a big event that we're not yet ready to reveal our venue for, but you will be in the know.
I like it.
Super
I like
awesome.
it.
If you had to tell somebody that is really trying to get into this magazine sooner than later, there's not on your 12 that you already have to cover, not on your 8 for a rising star moving forward, what is some words of advice that you would give them? Because you gave me some. You gave Mike. You gave everyone in this room some words of advice just to get featured in the #1 real estate related magazine in our area. In my personal opinion, what would you give that next person that's listening to the show? That advice. What advice would you give them?
So engage, first of all. If I don't know who you are, then I won't know, you won't get on my radar. So go follow our social media, engage, like things. I'm paying attention. If you're elevating, inspiring other agents in the community, I am seeing that. That's #1. Connect, elevate, inspire with us. Talk to your broker. Tell your broker you have goals of being in Real Producers. And that broker usually calls me and says, what does it take to get into Real Producers? And I tell them, are they tracking 10 million this year? Tell them to try. Let me know when they're tracking to be in there. We've spoken about a few of your rising stars, all of you. And, when I reach out to you guys, I'm like, all right, here's who's on your list. Well, you guys have so many on the list.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
one
it's
year I
tough
was
for us.
telling y'all, stop cranking them out so quickly. Everybody thinks I'm owned by Iron Valley.
I know. Like, we honestly, it kind of gets to a point where you're like, we shouldn't even get featured so often.
Yeah,
Like-
but we're a big percentage of the top producers.
You guys were cranking them
Right?
out. There,
Yeah.
there were
So-
several brokerages in this area that we wound up having a heavy year for because
Yeah,
of that reason.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. What was the list? Just this last quarter, year to date, was it 36? How many people did we have
We
in
have
the top
30,
500?
36, yeah.
36 agent top
I
500.
think that's awesome.
Yeah. Right now, we have 9 in the top 100 and 6 in the top 50.
When I
Yeah.
first met you, it was you and Eric
I know.
in the list, and you had 1 or 2 knocking at the door.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's been a
But
wild
yeah,
ride.
So in answer to your question, what do I tell an agent? Throw me on your vision board, talk to your broker, tell them that your goal is to be in Real Producers. Let them coach and help you. Talk to your mentors, talk to your coaches. Get a real estate coach if you don't have one. If your brokerage doesn't provide one, either find a brokerage that does or get yourself a coach. There's a lot of good options out there. And, play nice in the sandbox. Be nice to people. When you're having a really good deal, ask them, have you been featured in Real Producers? Would you be okay if I nominate you? When you say that to another realtor, what's their next response going to be? If someone said that to you, Mike, what would you say?
Anybody. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like-
and by the way, have you been featured? And
Right.
maybe I can nominate you. That's how
Right.
I'd say more than half of our nominations come from that exact scenario.
Yeah.
Where the realtors had such a good time working with each other that or the agents,
Yeah. And then they come to you like,
each other.
do you know this person? Because,
They nominate each other. And I'm like, the second call is always the most fun because you're like, oh, yeah, I just got a call from so-and-so. And so nominate, because that tells me that you're good. And then third, take our call. Like, we get it, your phone rings, but when my team calls and says, hey, Real Producers wants to connect with you,
call them back.
believe them.
Right.
I've had agents come up to me at events going, well, I've never been featured, and my numbers are higher than most of theirs. And I'm like, oh, sweetie, I can look. Our team has reached out to you 36 times since we started. Like, you got to answer your phone.
Answer the phone.
Call us back if you don't answer your
So
phone.
really, get in the room, like you always
Correct.
say,
Yeah.
and be like a respectable, decent human being.
Yeah. But come to our events, too.
Yeah,
That's
be a part of it.
That sounds like
Be
rocket
part of
science, though. I don't know. If
I know it's very hard for
Yeah.
people.
Shake hands.
No, and support it.
Yeah.
Support
Now, another-
Joni.
yeah.
Right? Support it.
But support, more importantly, remember, this is free for every agent
Yeah.
in town.
Yeah.
Every broker, everybody selling real estate or coaching and selling, people who are doing that. It's all paid for by the businesses that advertise. When you need a business, take a look there. I'm pretty confident you're not going to be disappointed.
It's also a great resource for a broker or owner or leader to lean on to acknowledge their people. Like I said, every time I got a request to write a blurb for somebody, I did that. Why? Because it makes them feel important. Because like they're contributing to your company.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also selfishly great PR. You never once featured a cover that I didn't write a soliloquy about and tag everybody in.
Yeah.
And
That's building, like coming alongside and saying, hey, we can go together.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I got 10 more people you should feature.
Yep.
And I'll be there if I can't be. And if I'm not, my team will be there, I promise. Like, that's how you do it.
By the way, anyone that's looking for a pretty good real estate coach, Mike Little, brokerforthembottom.com. I can put that out there. Yes, I'm just putting it out there.
Somebody had to do that.
He can help.
No selfless promotion.
No, not at all. Well, that is selfish promotion. I'm promoting him, not me.
Yep.
Well, I
But I
appreciate
will
you.
tell you, though, I mean, when my partners, the businesses that pay for this to happen, come to me and say, hey, I've got this agent I'm working with, that person gets elevated much higher on the list because these are the guys paying for the gig.
Right.
Right.
So if you're working,
They're keeping the
with
company alive.
any of our partners, have them nominate you.
Yeah.
Because any nomination gets you on the list, but the partner nominations,
Has
when
weight.
they like working with you, then I know you're good.
Yeah.
And I know you're somebody who we're going to want to elevate to higher up on that list pretty quick.
Makes sense.
I like it.
Joni, it is now July 28th, 2026. You've grown Sarasota to where you want it to go. Everything's still rocking and rolling here in Hampton Roads and in Peninsula. In Southside and Peninsula. What is one thing that you're going to tell yourself then, based on your vision on where everything's going to go, to make you feel that you made it? You went to a different market. Your goal was to buy a house, not to open up a whole nother business.
It was just going to be a little investment
Okay.
property. It really was.
Right. So now you didn't just invest into a property, though. You invested into a community.
Yeah.
Not just the community of people, the community of realtors down there that was already being invested in. Just there's different levels of investment, right? And you go 100% in. So now that you've made that move down to Sarasota, you still have a huge, strong team here. What is a positive statement you're telling yourself, like, I'm glad I did this? Like, what is something that you're going to keep yourself motivated to keep this going?
So, it's always, I've done a lot of these. I've got a coach, too, who does a lot of, write yourself a letter a year from now. And it always begins with, thanks for keeping up the hustle even on the hard days. Even on the hard days, thanks for keeping up the hustle. It's always, because if I get there, if I have arrived, that means that I have hustled my little hiney off.
Yep.
So it's always thanks for the hustle, thanks for paying attention. Congratulations for getting in with the best of the best agents and keeping the integrity of the product throughout that process. Because if I'm where I expect to be a year from now, then I have not sacrificed integrity a fraction of anything. And, integrity is that's one battle people will never lose with me, will never win with me, is questioning my integrity because of how I run this business.
That's good.
Because it's why we are successful. Because
Right.
Real Producers requires you all to have integrity to be featured. Therefore, I've got to, lead from the front.
Yep.
With the integrity factor of that. So I think
You say that all the time.
Did I get that from you, or did you get that
No,
from me?
no. I so
It's
you know,
borrowed.
full disclosure for me, that's just from being a chief in the Navy. Like, I was taught to never tell people to do something you haven't done or aren't willing to do.
That plate leadership.
Period. I actually wrote a third book. It's not out yet. It's called Trench Work Leadership, and the E in trench stands for exemplary. Like,
Nice.
whatever you're leading, you should be the model of that.
Yeah.
And if you can't be, you shouldn't be leading that.
One of my favorite.
Like, it's just very simple, you know?
yeah, there was a Marine that wrote, I think it was a Marine, Leaders Eat Last. And,
I've heard that, yeah.
And I read
actually
that
a good book.
early on when
It's
I
a really
first
good book.
started Real Producers and kind of adopted a lot of that. Like, feed the team, feed the
Yeah,
community.
it's real.
That's
make
the Marine
everybody-
rule.
Yeah.
You can't grow the team if you're focused on yourself.
Yeah.
It's not a real thing. You have to grow the team first, and then that'll give you the leverage where you can like now we're at a point where we're planning a trip to Vegas to come watch me speak as like a party with our wives. That's crazy to me. But that's because we grew it to a point where like there's more than one broker, there's more than one office manager, there's more than one owner, right? So things can happen while we all go do other things. You can go do a gig and LJ's got it.
Right.
I can go do a speaking engagement and know that Edwin and Edgar got it. Like,
So and to bring it all the way back to, and this is not all the way back, but when I met Mike, he's back there. I got a dupé.
yeah, physically every day, right? I don't even remember those days now.
He would not let it go.
I don't even remember those days
First of
now.
all, here's the things that people don't see. Right? You know how hard it is to get this man to let something go? Oh, my God, man.
That was a real thing. We couldn't do things. We have to wait on Mike to do pay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah.
I don't even remember those days now. This is crazy, right? So, just
You take care of the people who take care of you always.
Absolutely.
And what's really fun is watching them grow.
That's the best
watching
part.
These guys turn into who they've turned into, and then the people they're mentoring, and then the people they're mentoring. There's the
and then we keep adding new people.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
super fun to bring up people and watch them take over. Again, collaboration over competition.
Yep.
Rising tides raise all ships. That's how we're built.
Joni, thank you for being on the show today. And we really do appreciate you.
absolutely.
And to be fair, it's been a long time coming. I mean, this is something that,
thanks for having me.
and realistically, this is something that's going to repeat itself. But we're really stoked on the next time that we have you on the show on the success from the big national event, the success on your quarterlies and what's kind of evolved from there, success on seeing when we have the Iron Valley Real Producer monthly mailer go out, and all that stuff coming from all you guys, because we have so many people that just love being a part of your publication in a way that is because they see the value that you've brought to this market. They don't take that for granted, and because of that, the ones that do engage, the ones that do participate, they enjoy it. And it's because of you. You lead by example. You're leading from the front. And we want to say thank you for doing this and bringing this to the market. We know that we have a few things before we let you go. How can people follow you? How can people follow Hampton Roads and Peninsula and Southside and Sarasota Real Producers?
So hrrealproducers.com is our new website. Facebook and Instagram are also hrrealproducers.com. Or
Okay.
hrrealproducers is the hashtag and all that stuff. And Peninsula Real Producers, all spelled out. Sorry, Peninsula folks, had to do it. Couldn't come up with them. The shorter stuff was already taken. So Peninsula Real Producers spelled out. It's the website. It's the Instagram. I think it might be Peninsula RP on Insta, but
Okay.
Peninsula Real Producers. And then Sarasota and Manatee Real Producers is SarasotaRealProducers.com. On Facebook, I think we're Sarasota/Manatee.
Okay.
It's 2 counties. Down there. So Sarasota and Manatee is kind of like Peninsula and Hampton Roads.
Gotcha.
But they didn't have the Chesapeake River between them.
Okay.
Or Chesapeake Bay between them, so we kept it in one market.
Got it.
All right.
But yeah, we've got the new websites. We've got the Instagram and social and Facebook is pretty active. And comment. Let us know who you are. Message us behind the scenes if you don't want to
Yeah.
comment.
And you're going to be in Dallas in September?
I will absolutely be there,
So
Mike.
if somebody wants a ticket, you just have to go to rpelevate.com. That's it. That's all you got to do. And if you're in the top 500 or the top 300, we'll have a discount
How many
code
people do you have
soon.
from? Do you have a list from Iron Valley? Can you see who's bought tickets yet?
So I'm not going to answer that because that list is not as big as I would hope.
Gotcha.
That's why I wanted to make sure you all had the discount code. And I would hope that y'all would get over there and support Mike and support the platform. But we'll see. There's time.
All right.
I gave you the discount code. But I will
We'll,
tell
we'll,
you,
we'll run the numbers up. Realtors are last minute.
Southeast Virginia is one of the top RSVP cities, but we combine Peninsula and Hampton Roads, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because comparing, obviously Dallas has the most because it's in Dallas.
Right.
Yeah,
Obviously, yeah.
But if we compare us to Baltimore and Dallas and some of the bigger markets out there,
Yeah.
like we're holding our own, man. We're holding our own, so that's pretty good.
That's good. Because we are the biggest, smallest market in the country.
We are.
We're that small little area down here.
Very
that
dense.
We
they
just
might
got to
have heard of
market
us.
it. That's all.
We're tight.
We'll be all right.
But Joni, thanks again for being on the show today. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
for
We had
having
we had a
me.
full house for you on purpose, and
I
we
love
always will
that.
have this.
It feels so important. It's awesome.
Thanks for coming.
All
Everybody,
right.
thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're signing out here. Thank you, Edwin, June Rodriguez, Edgar the Sphere Munez, Mike Broker from the Bottom Little, DJ Julian Rivera signing out. Follow, subscribe, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, and make sure you do this. #open your spam. Peace.